In this video, I'm going to talk about 3 things I think Bethesda should implement in their games if they want to take mod support to the next level. And I'm only going to be focusing on things that they would implement in-game to make things easier, not in Bethesda Net or any other distribution platform. I am literally talking about things they could add to the game, features they could add that would make mod makers' lives easier and improve the amount and quality of mods you, the mod users, can get your hands on. These 3 things are key detection support, configuration and settings support, and UI support, and I will talk about these 3 things briefly right now. Let's talk about the key detection first. Believe it or not, of all of the things we can detect in our mods, key presses are not one. I could detect if the player character is sneaking, I could detect if he is running, aiming, and a lot of other things, but I cannot detect whether you, the player, happen to have pressed a certain key on your keyboard. And that is a major obstacle because modding brings a lot of new functionality to the game, and often that functionality involves switching things on and off. Examples of that could include a matter of time for Skyrim. I press a button and I get a clock plus the weather. Another one would be immersive HUD. I press a button, the compass appears. I press it again, it disappears. Night vision. I can press a button, it's a little bright for night vision, but there you go. I can toggle it on and off, and the list goes on. This functionality is provided in this case by something called the script extender. There are some alternatives, but these sort of tools are probably never going to be available on consoles, and even for PC users we have to wait until they are finished, and every time there is a game update we need to wait for the script extender to be updated and so on. So it would be of benefit to everyone involved if key detection was just part and parcel of the scripting engine from day one. Now for console users and anyone using a controller on the PC, you will obviously require multi-button support for their games, because right now you can only ever assign a single button press to each activity. So if you want to activate, you have to press the A button. If you want to open your Pip-Boy, you press the B. There's no way to have multiple button presses perform an action as you can in many other games. For key detection to be really useful cross-platform, Bethesda would also have to implement multi-key binds, the option to do things like press left button and A and have it do something different to when just pressing A by itself. Next, we really could do with something that lets us change the options or settings a mod comes with. A lot of mods actually have things that can be tweaked by you, the user, to set things the way you want. And over the years we've come up with a variety of methods of achieving that, including items in your inventory that let you change things, or just plain old brutally opening up the developer console and typing in commands. However, a talented mod maker called Pellinor came up with an entire system for changing mod settings and released it as a mod itself, and that was called the mod configuration menu. And as you can see, it adds a new option in the main menu where you find settings and save and load called mod configuration, and any mod that wants to can use this framework to allow the user to change a variety of different things, actually, from key press definitions to various checkbox options, value options. In fact, there are so many options, I'm not even going to try and cover them here. Skyrim also has a mod configuration menu implemented inside the Sky UI user interface overhaul, and it does pretty much the same thing, but I believe even more mods use it. It is a very, very powerful tool with a lot of different options. As you can see, you've got sliders, checkboxes. It's, again, too many options for me to cover here, but you get the idea. This is a way of changing settings that is neat. it is consistent with the game, and more importantly, it doesn't involve your in-game character doing strange things to change what, well, let's face it, are settings that belong in a menu. Now, if you compare those two systems with Fallout 4, where we don't yet have a mod configuration menu, believe it or not, we end up using tapes in the Pip-Boy, and it works. It does work. You can go along to the settings holotapes here and load a holotape, but as you can see, my character is doing something to change settings in-game, which is a little odd in itself if you're a hardcore role player, but also the system is just not as easy to use. It's slower, it's cumbersome. I have drop-down lists almost of numbers rather than sliders. It takes a lot of time to make these things, and there are plenty of options it just can't do. And this means eventually somebody is going to make an MCM type mod. We're all going to start using it, but it won't be available on the consoles, and then mod authors like myself will have to create two different menu systems for all of our mods if we want to support all systems. If you could get this type of thing in at the start as just a basic thing all the modded games have, it would go a long way towards making my life as a mod maker easier, but also, again, it would help the cross-platform nature of modding that you seem to be trying to go for. And finally, I think that games need to do a better job of supporting UI mods and the way the user interface and the scripting engine talk to each other. Well, in fact, they need to start allowing that, because at the moment you cannot interact with the user interface from the script without using something like SKSE. So something as simple as this, where I'm pressing a key to show the compass and hide it, is not possible without SKSE. This sort of thing would really be nice, not just for manipulating existing items, but to allow the addition and manipulation of new items. This clock that tells you the day, the time, there are plenty of other things. Frostfall will give you visual indicators of whether or not you're cold and wet. All of these things are made possible with Script Extender, not possible in the vanilla game. There is also another thing that is kind of connected to this, and that is a framework in which mod makers can add elements to the heads-up display. This element here, this one, is actually added through Sky UI. Sky UI is a mod that overhauls the user interface, and it provides a framework by which mod authors can add things on screen. And there's a lot of mods that will add things that are very, very useful. And in games such as New Vegas, we have mods like the JIP CCC mod, which lets you control your companions from this really easy to use heads-up display system. As you can see, I can tell my companion to move over here, and he will do so. I can tell them to heal, I can tell them to attack things, I can adjust their inventory, all from this menu. It really is a great system, but it relies on the script extender, and to some degree it relies on a framework that will allow lots of different mod authors to make such mods and have them work together rather than fight each other. And that is basically it. There are plenty of other things, there are plenty of other features provided by things like the Skyrim script extender that would be nice, but I imagine a lot of that would be for more advanced mods, and you get a sort of a limited payback on effort. But the three things I've highlighted, key press detection along with multi-key press, binding, a mod configuration menu, and better UI support, those three things you could do with a reasonably small amount of work, and you would reap massive benefits with regards how well modding works cross-platform. There would be far more mods able to just go from PC to Xbox to PlayStation 4 and provide the same functionality without the mod author needing to do anything, and keep the quality of the mod the way the mod author wanted. It would also mean PC gamers would get the mods quicker because they would not have to wait for the relevant functionality to be created by someone else in something like the script extender, and all round it would just make people's lives a little easier, including the mod authors. Now, I know some people are going to be thinking, all of this functionality you've mentioned really is provided by mostly the script extender and partially SkyUI in Skyrim. Aren't you suggesting that Bethesda steal ideas from mod makers? And the answer is yes, I am. That is exactly what I'm suggesting, and I can tell you now, I asked the mod authors in question what they would think if Bethesda did that, and they said it would be a relief, pretty much. I'm paraphrasing, but that was it. They would see it as something they no longer had to do. It's not like they would run out of other things. There's still plenty of things to fix, or not fix, change to my preference on, say, the user interface, and the script extender is still going to be needed for a lot of the advanced stuff. So they could then focus on that instead of implementing things that just feel pretty basic and like they should have been there from the start. Anyway guys, that is it. Those are the things I think Bethesda should implement so as to better support modding and make all of our lives a little easier. I do apologise for the rambly nature of this video. That tends to happen with my videos if you are new here, and I hope I was not too incoherent. Leave me any questions down below and I will try to answer them, and I will see you guys next time.
So very far from wrong, it's so very far from wrong.